Hello and welcome to week 4, our final week of Nature's Brushstrokes, where we bring all of those things that we've learnt over the last 3 sessions together in your final project. Now, what you do in this week is really up to you. I'm going to offer some suggestions. I'm going to show you ways in which I develop some early ideas and how I then work with them. But you do whatever you want. This is very much the essence of my teaching practice. I don't want you to kind of just follow blindly what I do. I want you to be developing your own creative narrative and using the skills and techniques that you've learnt over the last 3 sessions in the exploration of the sea, the forest and the sky, and bring it all together. Now, there's lots of ways in which you can do this, and I'm just going to show you a few of what I do. So let's go. So let's take a look at all the things that we've done so far. So week 1, we were looking at the sky and lots of different textures, and these are still in a bit of a jumble for me. I was going to put them into my sketchbook, and then I got distracted by something else, and then I wasn't sure what I was going to do with them. So they are still here, but there's a few that I particularly like, and they are what I'm going to kind of be working on today. I'm going to have a look at those and remove those ones aside. So it's these 3. They're very kind of muted, very soft greys and blues of the sea, and I really liked those. And then for the second week, when we did forest, I just started working in a journal, and which is why I kind of ignored the sea, because I got a little bit engrossed in this one, and I've kind of been writing a few more bits in it, and I'm definitely going to continue with my exploration of the forest. And then we had the skies, and again I really enjoyed doing these. They were great fun, but I was very much drawn to this kind of storm cloud idea. Now, what I want you to do is to take something from each piece, whatever that might be, and just to think about how you could develop it further. Now, for example, I'm going to take these ideas of the muted colours, and I'm going to put these into my forest journal. So in my pages here, my blank pages here, I'm going to incorporate the colours of the sea and the sky, that kind of storm clouds, and then bring in my elements of the forest. And I'm going to show you how I do this, but I really encourage you to do your own thing. So I've started working on this double page in my journal, and like I said before, I wanted to kind of incorporate the natural landscape near to where I live, and so I've put in this sort of like moody sky. I've got my rolling Dorset hills, my little bit of beach, and going into the sea. So this is just done in exactly the same techniques that we've done in the last 2 sessions. This is dry now, and I'm just going to move this over, and I'm just going to focus a little bit on the trees. To do a little bit here, and you could do this if you want to. You could do other techniques. You could go over it with a fine liner pen. All of these things, these are just techniques that you could use. Now, I'm going to be using my Analinki paints, which are very inexpensive, and I really like them. I use them with my students all the time. I was using them yesterday when I was doing a class. They're very good. So I've got my kind of basic trees here. I've got the idea of the light coming in this way. So all I'm going to do is just to put a bit of shadow on the left hand side of some of the trees, just to give a little bit of definition. I'm not going to go in for a lot of detail. That's not my purpose in this journal. Some when I was doing some of my sort of toadstools and mushrooms and things like that, but these I'm just going to keep quite loose. I started sort of writing a little haiku here, which I love. I just love writing little poems, and that's what I will continue to do. So I'm just going to put in just a little bit of shadow, not very much at all, just a hint, like a hint. And then within this, I'm just going to put a little bit more green. Again, I'm going to spray the water into the paint. I'm going to spray a little bit of water onto the page. I'm going to go in with this moss green combined with that kind of purple colour. And then I'm just going to do some splatters with a little brush. So I think that can look really good. I'm liking that. It's quite wet. So just some interesting little splatters. Then I'm going to get my larger brush. Again, a very soft brush. They are the best ones to use. Again, I got this sort of moss green with a bit of purple. And I'm just going to do just some splatterings. I always get very messy when I do splatterings, but yeah, it's just part of it, like that. You see, it just gives that kind of little bit of an essence of what's going on. And I'm just going to put a few little dabs across there, like that. Now I'm going to leave that one, move across. I'm going to do a little bit of work on my rolling Dorset hills, because they are looking a little bit like Scottish mountains at the moment. It's not actually what I wanted. We do have the heather, and that's what creates the purple. But I just, as we kind of go further back, you get more grey, and you can really use the colour to emphasise depth and things like that. But again, I do want to have these as quite neutral colours with just these hints, these little hints. And then this one, as it goes across, I'm actually going to have this as golden cap. So those of you who know the southwest of England will know that Golden Cap is the highest point on the south coast, and I can see Golden Cap from my house. So it's amazing, and it's called Golden Cap because in the evening light the sun just catches it, and it just looks golden, and it's gorgeous. Although last week it had snow all over it, so it did actually look like a mountain, which was great. It was like, oh, look, could be in Switzerland. So that's what I'm going to do, and I'm not going to do any more on this page except my writing. So I mean, I might put a few little things in, a few little elements, but at the moment I'm really happy with how this is looking. It kind of has the feel that I want, and I might put a few little boats here as I illustrate it. And this is the joy of working in a journal, is that you can just add to it. So think about all of the techniques that you've learnt. Think about how you want to put some of them together. Try out new ideas if you want to, because it might be that over the last three sessions you thought, oh, I want to expand that a little bit more, and you can do that. So that's going to be me for over the next few days. I'm just going to write some more little haikus, some more poems, perhaps some prose in the sky, and then I will continue on my own personal journey. I really hope you have enjoyed this course, that you've got lots of ideas that you can take away and work with. And I really hope that you continue your creative practice. If you'd like to see some more, you could look at this one or this one. And I will see you next time. Bye bye.